We are live. We are live. We are live. We're about to talk about young Jeezy and Jeannie. Everybody come on in. I got a special guest. I got Candace Little, the number one, you said it right, the number
No.
one divorce lawyer in the world, right?
Oh my God. Okay. Okay.
So I got a number one divorce lawyer in the entire world. So I got her expertise with me because I didn't want to just come on here babbling about some stuff that I ain't know nothing about. So I did some research. She did some research, and we're about to break this whole situation down. And the main thing I want to ask you, Candace, once we get started,
Okay.
is why are all of these people getting a divorce? But we'll hold on to that. Everybody, make sure y'all hit the like button. Hit the like button as y'all come on in. Y'all already know. Wipe your feet on the on the on a on the rug. Get to work. Running your finger. Let's get it. So everybody hit the like button. 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 So young Jeezy, Jeannie, my divorce after 2 years, and everybody's wondering what happened, and especially they have a 1-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So I talk about how most relationships end after the child is born and they're 1 years old. So, in my opinion, it's usually the woman that is in a relationship simply to get herself a baby, and then once she has a baby, she's out. But in this situation, Jeezy actually left. So that part had me a little confused because I'm like, wow, the guy left? You don't usually see that, especially not in a situation like this, right after they have a baby. Like, why would you want to divorce somebody and you got a 1-year-old, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, in your opinion, let's start with the opinions. Everybody hit the like button, everybody hit the like button, everybody hit the like button. In your opinion, why do you think they split up or got a divorce? And why do you think Jeezy did it?
Well, interestingly enough, women do file for divorce more than
And
men.
men. Mm-hmm.
But in their particular case, I would say that Jeezy probably filed because when I looked at their petition for divorce, he just cited irreconcilable differences. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
mention any of the specific grounds like adultery. He didn't mention like cruel treatment or anything like that. So I'm willing to bet that when they had a child, expectations changed. A lot of times you see people getting a divorce after their children are born because those expectations for those traditional gender roles, you have a lot of differences with the division of household duties, division of child labor, and, you know, taking care of the children. A lot of times they think it's the women's responsibility. A lot of times they think it's, supposed to be shared. And you just can't really come to an agreement on that. And it leads to a lot of arguments. A lot of arguments leads to a lack of intimacy. A lack of intimacy leads to, a separation in general. And
Yeah.
then you can't come back. And so often what I see is after women have a baby. Now, Jeannie Mai is successful in her own right. So maybe this was not her case, but a lot of times women have children and they don't want to go back to work. And that causes an issue with the man who, expects to have a financial partner. And it's like, okay, well, I get that, you have to raise the children, but I also wanted, a 2 income household. And that can cause an issue as well.
Okay. Okay. So I can easily see that. Two people who don't really know each other, because 2 years and then you have a baby. So you can say, I know you,
Well,
right?
they got married because she was pregnant, right? I
I don't
think she was pregnant when they got married. I could be wrong, but that was my understanding.
whoa. And then she comes from a certain background, and so this could have been shotgun wedding-ish. Hold
I
on.
think so.
Was Jeannie Mai pregnant during her wedding?
Because I know she didn't want to have kids
Hold
with
on.
her ex-husband.
Women's Health. She and Jeezy learned they were expecting a baby just a month before their wedding. However, she suffered a miscarriage soon after.
Okay.
Oh, she suffered a miscarriage. Oh, okay. Huh. That's interesting. Huh.
Maybe
Okay.
she thought she was. But yeah, I do. Their whole issue with the baby, I feel like, is convoluted because I know she didn't want to have children with her ex, and now all of a sudden want to have children with Jeezy. So could be something there.
Okay. So before we go any farther, introduce yourself fully because I did say you're the best lawyer in the world, but I want people to know what city you're in just in case somebody wants to get ready their mate and hit you up.
Okay, well, hello everyone. My name is Candace Little. I am a divorce attorney. I am licensed to practice only in the state of Georgia, so I would not say I'm the best person or the best attorney in the world. I am one of the top ones in Georgia. I'm just going to toot my horn. I've been doing this for 10 years, and I do primarily, I would say maybe 95% of my practice is family law. So I'm very familiar with these issues in this area.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. That's what's up. And you for the brothers, right?
No, I represent my clients. I represent both men and women. And I mean, I know how to argue both sides. So I get a lot of it. I can successfully represent men. I can successfully represent women.
So who would you rather represent between men and women?
Women.
Wow. Why?
If I'm being honest, it's easy to relate to. They're easy to relate to. A lot of I call them my husbands, but I am married, but I'm only married to one person. But a lot of my husbands, I end up talking to their wives or their mothers about the case, and I'm like, that's good. Thank you for all of this information, but I need to talk to my actual client because he's the one I'm putting on the stand. A lot of times, and this is no slack to the men, no slack to, my male clients, but they delegate a lot of their legal issues to the women in their lives. So when I'm dealing with a female client, I'm talking directly to her. If I may talk to a mom or a sister or, a spouse, it's about their testimony because they're going to be like a witness on the stand. I'm not talking to them directly about the issues. And that's one of my pet peeves that I have with male clients because it puts me in a bind because if it's a custody issue and I'm arguing that you can be a really good parent over the wife, and I'm still always either talking to another female, it's like, well, you can prove the point where you're delegating the child rearing responsibility, even your business, to another woman. So why would a judge believe now that you can handle this responsibility? So yeah, I would rather represent women. Just being honest, the Georgia law, I will say Georgia law especially favors the lower earning spouse. Women generally are the lower earning spouses. It's just easier.
Wait. How are women the lower earning spouse? According to what all these women
I said women generally. Women generally.
Wait, hold on. You wait. I gotta find this.
Okay.
You just said something. Y'all did y'all hear that? So
I can't see anyone.
according to the experts
right now, black in our society right now.
These are the experts, and this is what they said about who the higher earning spouses are.
Black women are making a lot more money for the most part than black men, right? There are a lot of black men who are successful, but for the most part,
and then this expert right here.
Yeah. Black women in particular, when it becomes to becoming a wife.
Keeping it 100,
Yes.
there's not enough eligible black males who fit the needs of black women. Vary on their same level of financial and educational status.
Yeah.
So if you're a black woman making $150,000 a year with a master's degree, you tend to want at such an accelerated rate. Black women are excelling at such an accelerated rate. How do men keep up with that?
And then she says this.
We are in the middle of a crisis. Black men are in crisis.
So black men are in crisis. How are the majority of the husbands making more money than the wives?
So
what in the world?
So the women who they were discussing, I would assume, are not married. I believe they were talking about single Black women who
Mm-hmm.
make $150,000, who have prioritized their career. They were able to prioritize their career because they're single.
Because
So
they can't find no man.
they don't have a man.
Okay.
Now, by the time they get married, then, sure, they probably will or will not be the lower earning spouses. But for a lot of, I'll just speak for my clients, for a lot of my clients, the women generally, even if they work, the women generally do not make as much money as the
All
man.
right. So y'all hear that, ladies? Y'all are not making as much money as y'all think y'all are, because she's a divorce lawyer and she's talked to I don't know how many clients, and the majority of the clients, the dude made more money. I'm just tired of this narrative that men are just broke and destitute, and you know
No,
what I'm saying? Yeah. So thank you.
they're not. They're
Thank
not.
And in Atlanta, there's a lot of men who make a lot of money, right?
I agree. Yes.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
You
saying.
just
It's
have
just
to
a narrative.
find them. And again, they probably are already married.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, with that, you could have a woman who, was making six figures, but after that first child, after that second child, they probably had some kind of alternative arrangement where she's not making that money anymore. And once you're out of the workforce for so long, sure, you can go back, but the odds that you're going to go back at that salary are slim.
Okay.
So yeah, there
Yeah.
there's some push, there's some pro and con, there's some argument on both sides, but yeah, generally the
Yeah.
man makes.
Okay. So in this situation, another Black man that makes more money than a woman. I just want to say that. Jeezy. Jeezy and Jeannie Mai get together, they get married, and they divorce after 2 years, and they now have a 1-year-old child. What does this mean for Jeezy? Is Jeezy gonna automatically get another in a second question to this? Why does a woman always get the child?
The woman doesn't always get the child.
Really?
Really, the
So
woman
how
doesn't
can a
always.
man get custody of the child and a woman get visitations? How can that work?
Okay. Um, let me answer the first one first, because my mind had already started ticking on that one. So
Okay.
in Jeezy's petition, he is asking for joint legal and joint physical custody. The difference between legal custody and physical custody, legal custody refers to like paperwork, think documents. If you want to get their daughter a passport, then both of them would have to sign. If Jeannie Mai had sole custody, then she wouldn't need a signature from Jeezy. When we're talking about education records, school report cards, medical documents, things like that, he would have access to. That's joint legal custody. 9 times out of 10, most divorcing parents will get joint legal custody unless we have some issues with, maybe one parent is incarcerated or maybe one parent is in rehab. It's very, very difficult to get sole legal custody. Now, he's also asking for joint physical custody. In my opinion, and I've been a fan of Jeezy. I'm a fan of Jeezy's earlier music. I don't know what he's really doing now. Depending on the work schedules, it will be very difficult for him to get joint physical custody. Joint physical means like a week on, week off type of arrangement, depending on where they're going to live when their daughter gets of school age. If they're not living in the same school district, that may be an issue for one parent. But he wants to spend, an equal amount of time with his daughter as would Jeannie Mai. Georgia judges generally do not like that, because it doesn't work well. The next time someone gets married, or maybe somebody moves, it's always going to end up with you coming back to court to modify that. Now, with regard to custody in general and mothers versus fathers, so and it goes back to what I was saying earlier. So
Okay.
Georgia has a custody statute. It's called the best interest of the child. It lists out about 17 different factors that a judge will consider. One of them is the familiarity with the child's, just kind of everyday lives. And a lot of times that is the woman. So, if we're pulling up doctor's records and every time you see the mom is the one who signed for something, or if we're looking at education records and we see the mom attended the PTA meeting, dad was at work, or dad was on tour, or dad was somewhere else, or mom is always the one signing up for Girl Scouts, and mom is there at the ballet recital, and mom is paying for all these things. And when it comes to those important records, if all we see is mom, then generally mom is the one who's going to get custody. If dad was delegated to, it's almost going to be like, well, dad can still be delegated to. The law is not going to necessarily be fair. So just because dad is capable of taking their daughter to Girl Scouts, if dad wasn't the one always taking their daughter to Girl Scouts, the court is not going to change that now. So men can get primary physical custody, generally is what you're wanting. Men can get primary physical custody by being the lead parent. And that's very broad, that's very general. But again, if mom has been doing everything, mom gets the child.
So is the leader or the lead parent, is this about paperwork or hearsay, or because some of these things don't have paperwork? So
Right.
like looking at my marriage, I was a lead parent, but I don't know what paperwork, like, because we just, it wasn't crazy. Me and my ex-wife was on a somewhat of a same page or whatever, so she followed my lead even during the divorce. So I didn't have to show paperwork and do this and prove that. Everything was literally up to us. The court didn't require, because I don't play that. Because I would have went in there and slapped the judge and told him, this is my child and he gonna shut up. So I actually, I think that's actually what happened. The judge heard it was me and he didn't want no smoke.
What county was this? And what judge? I want to know.
It was in Paulding County.
Paulding. Okay. I don't get up there much. Okay.
Yeah, way out in the suburbs. So all together, I don't remember the name of the judge because I didn't really need to care about the name.
Yeah, y'all reached an agreement. Yeah.
Yeah, we just reached an agreement. That was it. Like, ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do about nothing. So I'll tell police
officers.
And that's why you're not married. I'll tell police officer sit down and sit in his own car if he pulls me over, and I'll write myself a ticket and I'll bring it to him. I'll get out my face. I take accountability. I was speeding. Just give me the thing. Go sit down. So, yeah. So in my situation, the judge had no bearing on anything, right? So the lead parent, is it paperwork wise, or what does that mean? The lead parent, because you said if the parents is on some paperwork, I don't really understand what paperwork people would be able to say, hey, my name is the only person on this paperwork.
So lead parent, when you think about the child rearing duties, especially for working parents. So, who's waking the child up, putting the child clothes on, washing face, brushing teeth, taking the child to school. So it's not just about documentation. Documentation can corroborate your testimony, right? So you can go to court and say a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. But if someone is challenging you, you need to have either another person back you up or documentation to support you. For school age children, it is harder to really show who's doing what without either a teacher saying, well, every time I call mom, I don't get her and I have to call dad. As soon as I call dad is here. You can have teachers testify on your behalf, even emails between teachers, things like that. Our two children are very young. They're in private daycare. So, when we sign in and out, it shows exactly who signed in. It is this little sign our two children in, or my husband signed our two children out. So we can really show when it comes to transporting the kids, who's really doing what. So we can show that. And then just another thing as far as pictures, pictures between, if you're snapping pictures and y'all are at the park or y'all went to Six Flags or family vacation and we don't see mom or we don't see dad, that can be conducive or indicative of who's really there spending the most time with the children. If one party doesn't go to church, but church is something, really big, and you want to raise your children Christian. If we don't ever see the other person at church, then a judge is probably going to, just kind of one of the 4 areas for like final. Another thing with joint legal custody, you'll have one person, one parent be the final decision maker, and religion can be one of those areas. And so, if one person doesn't go to church and the other one does, a judge is probably inclined to give that, area of choice to the mom. So it's a lot of things. Like lead parent can be very broad. You have to really sit and think about your day to day and who does what. So yeah, but there are ways to document it, even if you don't have, the paperwork for it.
Do you ask the child ever, like, which parent is the lead parent? I think that's a question a child will understand.
You don't necessarily have to ask a child. Under Georgia law, when a child is 14, he or she can elect with which parent he wants to live or she wants to live. That election is rebuttable if the child elects a parent who has some parental fitness issues. 9 times out of 10, it does get honored, unless you are electing to live with a parent, again, who is in rehab or incarcerated or, something like that.
Okay.
When a child turns 11, they can sign a statement of, basically it's an affidavit. I call it a statement of custody preference, where they can tell the judge, and the judge will, give their desire some consideration, but they can still do whatever they want to do as far as who they're going to award custody to. So I wouldn't ask a child who the lead parent is, but you can just always ask a child who they want to live with. And generally they want to live with the person who they have the stronger relationship with.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for breaking that down. So yeah, that was a good breakdown, because I didn't know that as far as the lead parent type of thing. So a lot of guys, if you're watching, say you got a child now and y'all are married, or you whatever, make sure your name is on all paperwork when it comes to make sure the school bus driver sees you walking the child out to the school bus. Make sure you get as much documentation as you can involving what you're doing with the child. Don't just lay around the bed and, oh yeah, y'all. No, you take the child to school. You do some stuff. You get to know the teacher. You sign in, because remember you said there's a sign-in sheet, and I do remember that. I do remember sign-in sheets. So it was sign-in sheets. So you got to have documentation that you're the lead parent in order to get custody of the child. So as far as men go, do men ask for sole custody a lot or no?
No.
They're asking.
They don't.
Really? Why? Why do you think?
Well, so again, it's very hard to get sole custody. I see a lot of men asking for joint legal custody. Now, if you're asking me if men ask for primary physical custody a lot, I don't see that either.
Wait, sole custody and primary physical are different?
Correct.
Okay. What's the difference?
So sole legal custody, that means that you only just have one parent making decisions. Again, unless we have some kind of crazy parental fitness issues, it's going to be the both parents, but we have a tiebreaker for which, if you will. Now, sole custody means that the child is really living with one parent, not really seeing the other parent. Sole custody, I want to be clear, does not mean that you can't have visitation, but that visitation is very minimal, like below standard, and probably up to the parent, the primary parent. I see a lot of guys asking for what is called liberal visitation, which is really just standard visitation. That's your every other weekend, your 2 weeks during the summer, split holidays. I see a lot of guys asking for that. Could be based on work schedules. It could be based on maintaining that status quo. They just knew they weren't the lead parent. They don't want to try and argue about it or fake it now. I see a lot of guys ask for joint physical custody. That's what Jeezy asked for, that week on, week off type of parenting arrangement. And a lot of times they ask for that just because they know that if you have a good mom on the other side, it's just really hard to make an argument for a judge to only make her have visitation. So to me, it's sort of like it's what am I trying to say? It's almost like a, not really a catch-all, but it's like I know I can't really attack you that hard, so I'm just gonna ask for joint physical and
Okay.
not primary physical, because I know I probably won't get primary physical, but nothing's really wrong with you, so I'm just gonna ask for joint physical because nothing's really wrong with me. And I want more than standard parenting time. So it's one of those, let me kind of teeter and totter around the lines, if you will.
Okay. So primary physical custody isn't really something that usually happens, right? I
For who?
think for men, I think we need to get the children out of these women's hands. I think women raising children by themselves is scary. A lot of women, young girls, get abused because mom just don't have the time to deal with all this stuff, and she gets emotional and frustrated. And especially when it's a female, she looks at her, she sees her in her daughter. Next thing you know, she treats her like crap or whatever. And like, so how can I school the men that watch my content into getting physical custody? Sole custody, you said, is different, just physical custody and whatever comes with it. As long as the home base is with the dad. So how can guys do that? Like, how can he get it accomplished? The first one is make sure to be the lead parent, right?
Yeah, that really is the first and almost the only one. And so let me make sure I understand. So you want to tell your male audience how best to get primary physical custody, where the mom is getting the child on the weekends?
Yes.
Okay. Because I represent both men and women, I am just going to couch it in terms of how either parents can have primary physical custody. And one thing that I do want to say, because this just happened for me, I represented dad. Dad got primary physical custody. And the thing with dad getting primary physical custody, because this was a case, this was a divorce where mom had stayed home. They had 3 children. Mom had stayed home at one point, and then mom went back to work. But the kicker for this one was, by the time we got divorced, mom just did not have the stability. Mom was the lead parent. Mom was the one doing a lot of the enrolling in school, and dad was working a lot. Dad worked overseas at one point, so of course, the kids are with mom, but on the day of the divorce, mom didn't have a place to stay. Mom didn't have a job, and dad had a source of income. Dad had, a residence for the children. And so it just made more sense. Like, yes, mom, you are, or you were a really good mom at that time, but you're just not anymore. Like, I'm not going to give you these kids and you take them to an extended stay hotel or something else or something worse. And
Wouldn't they
so
just make the
stability,
man buy her house and all this stupid mess and take care of her?
not
Oh,
necessarily.
okay. Because I could just assume, I don't know, that if the woman ain't got nowhere to go, the court is going to make him pay all her bills so she can have somewhere to go.
Now, if there is a house, if there is like a marital property house and we have to divide it, then that is possible. In this particular case, they didn't own a home together. So we don't have a house to make dad pay for. And of course, at that point, dad or the judge is not going to make dad buy mom a house. No, like, even if there was a consideration for dad to pay child support, dad is never going to have to pay child. Let me not say that. In this particular case, dad was not going to have to pay as much child support that it will take to actually pay rent, especially in this economy, or buy. So it just really came down to, I have to make a decision today. Who's the more stable parent? I think it's dad. There's nothing wrong with dad. To the extent dad didn't do some of these things, dad is now going to have to learn how to do them.
Yeah.
And again, none of this stuff is, let me not say none of this stuff. That's the thing with lawyers. It just, everything depends. But custody and child support and things like that, and even visitation time, you can modify those every 2 years. So even if you don't like what you get, today during your divorce, 2 years go by, you can always, go back and ask the court to review it. And, if there's a material change in circumstances, you don't even have to wait for 2 years. Like if, somebody moves out of state, then you can certainly go and modify parental time, or if someone dies, certainly go and modify parental time if there's something that is really going to negatively affect the child's welfare if we don't make a change.
So another question. I'm loving this.
Okay.
Another question. Why do courts have control over all these people anyway? This whole thing is kind of stupid. Like, who gave y'all the ability to tell two grown people what to do with their kids in the first place?
Y'all.
Yo.
A lot of superior court judges are elected. A lot of times, people don't pay attention to local politics. People, if it's not the president, they don't care. And so a lot of these some are appointed, but a lot of them are elected. Choose the county that you live. I'm pointing. Choose the county where you reside closely, wisely, not closely. Because generally you're going to have to get divorced in the county where you reside. So if you don't like these judges, or you heard something about one particular judge, I'm not saying just do it, but you might want to move to somewhere else where you like the judges. And then
how do you know
if
you ain't got a divorce? How you going, hey, I want to meet the
this
judge?
is all public record. COVID did y'all or us a really, really good favor, because a lot of the judges were streaming their hearings on YouTube. Go on the court's website if you live in Fulton County. I do a lot in Fulton and a lot in DeKalb, so I'm like in the heart of Atlanta. Superior Court of Fulton County judges, they will all come up. Go to YouTube, judge such and such and such and such courtroom. Stuff will come up. You can look at their calendars, judge so and so court calendar, and see when the next court day is. Do it. Some of them have the Zoom link. I think majority of them have resumed in-person hearings. Go. It's public record. It's free information. But then also, like you and your wife did, the judge only gets involved the minute you can't agree on something. So if y'all can agree on everything, even on a temporary basis, if you can agree, you don't have to ever see a judge. And a lot of counties require mediation. Mediation is an informal process where they will kind of force you to, let me not say that. They don't force you to agree, but they do force you to go if it's required. And it's in your best interest to make an agreement, because you maintain control over your property, your children, your whatever. And a lot of stuff you can agree on that a judge can't really award or order. Like one of my favorite issues is the whole tax issue. Like, say you're fine as a father, say you're fine with just getting the weekends because you travel a lot for work and you love your job and you're top man on your job. You have no intention of doing whatever, but you want to claim your child every other year on the taxes. That's something y'all can agree to. A judge cannot make the primary parent allow you to claim the children on the taxes, because that isn't a federal issue. Family law is state law. So, I love agreements. It's cheaper if you hire an attorney. You probably don't need an attorney if you don't need to go to court. So the more you can agree on, the cheaper it will be. And you can also agree on stuff that a judge can't award. Those are called non-justiciable issues. You can agree on those. But yeah, you invite a judge into your life when you cannot reach an agreement with the person that you married. And
okay. So when I said, why do y'all have so much control of these people and their kids, you said is because y'all put us in their business. So is there, and I'm asking you because you're an attorney, so I'm not going to assume is a yes or no, but it's worth a try. If two people get married and they don't want y'all in their business at all, is there some type of opt out that's like, I don't want y'all in our business, and leave us the hell alone if we ever get a divorce and we just do some paperwork and blah blah blah? Because I'm sure my situation, because like I told you, I was just gonna slap the judge if it was gonna say something crazy. So other people probably aren't going to run around slapping judges. So the typical divorce, doesn't they always make the people do stuff? Is there some way, I'm not saying a prenup, some way to opt out where we don't want y'all in our business? We'll figure this out on our own. Like, I want a divorce, leave us alone. Is there a leave us alone type of thing?
So who is y'all? Is y'all attorneys or is y'all the judge?
The judge. Because
No.
like I said, my situation, both of us didn't even show up to the court. We just filed the paperwork and it was over, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I hear all these other stories that I don't know anything about, and they like, the judge made us do this, the judge made us. Why is people making people do stuff? Is it something that they did and something I didn't do or something?
I don't know. And different counties do different things. Different judges within the same county do different things. I will say this: normally, 9 times out of 10, if you reach an agreement, a judge is going to honor that agreement. Now, the judge does have to sign off on it, but that's it. The judge is not going to do anything else. Now, I have seen. I wasn't representing either party. I was just waiting in court, sitting down, waiting for my turn. But I saw a judge undo an agreement for joint physical custody. Okay. These were teenage kids. I think one of them, if not both of them, were driving. The parents felt like at this point, there's no need for me to be forced or, them to be forced to see me on certain days when they can drive to either one of our houses. Mm-hmm. But the judge did not like that agreement and gave mom the primary physical custody. And my mouth dropped because I'm like, these are two, consenting adults. Arguably, they are, they are of sound mind. No one is coercing either of them. Generally, I mean, you can contract however you want to. Even if you make a bad agreement, the law allows you to do that. And so for that particular judge, I didn't know why he did that. But what I will say is the lower court judges, trial court judges, to the extent they make someone do something and you don't believe that that judge had the authority or the discretion to do that, you can always file an appeal. You can appeal to the Court of Appeals. They are right downtown. I can't remember how many of them, but there's a panel of judges that will review what this particular judge did and say, nope, either go
why
back.
They just not do it?
I don't know. These are people.
I'm not gonna do nothing no judge telling me to do with my wife and my kid. I don't care what the paperwork say. I'm not doing it. I can do what I want to do.
Well, I don't know why judges make people do stuff that, arguably is appealable. But again, these are people. Judges have a lot of discretion in this area of law. Sometimes they're in good moods. Sometimes they have enough coffee. A lot of things can depend on what a judge is going to do in your particular case. Sometimes judges get pissed off in the case before you, and then that just negatively trickles down to your case. I've seen a lot of things happen, but yeah, it's a question I really don't know.
So, in my opinion, from everything you said, it's not about having, and I don't want to say the word control in the wrong context, but it's not about having the control of the judge. It's about having control of the mate. Like, look, we're not doing this. We're going to work this out on our own. And as long as we work things out on our own, the judge is null and void to a certain degree from what you're saying.
I don't want to say control. To the extent you feel like you have an agreement with your spouse because you control the spouse or you coerced the spouse, that agreement can be made invalid. So to the extent y'all have favor each other, then yeah, I mean it's a no-brainer. You won't have the messy divorce like a lot of people did. But I see this all the time. People reach these agreements. They want to do it quickly. They want to get it over with. They don't want to pay an attorney. And then when they get buyer's remorse, like, oh, I could have gotten this, or, oh, I could have negotiated that, or, now we got this joint physical custody arrangement, but you leave the kids with me all the time and you're not even paying me child support, they come right back to court. Do it right the first time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is to the fellas, y'all are marrying crappy, non-cooperative women,
I didn't say that.
or you're a crappy man that doesn't have any balls, and you can't tell your lady, like, look, this is what we're gonna do, and that's what it's gonna be. And she doesn't trust you because whether it's a divorce or marriage, I don't understand why your wife don't trust you out of nowhere just because y'all getting divorced. Y'all still the same people. Y'all just ain't together. So I had a certain amount of trust throughout my marriage, throughout my divorce, and after divorce, I ain't got no problems. So I can own. So all these people are, oh, the courts, oh, the lawyers, they're this and that. No, it sounds like these dudes are trash, and they get with trash women, and everybody's all over the place when they don't want to be together no more. I understand the fact that we may not want to be together no more. I'm not going through all this stuff with you. You know, I'm not going to do all that. So looking at the Jeezy and Jeannie, my situation, I can see Jeezy somewhat being like me, like, yo, we're not doing all that. So we're going to do this, do that. And nobody's ever going to hear anything else.
Well,
because don't nobody have time for all this court mess. Like, I'm not doing it. I wish somebody would try to tell me what to do with my kids and family. I'm not dealing with it. You have to put me in jail. I'm not doing it.
It doesn't seem like they have an agreement on what to do with the kids.
They do. And I will
say this, with a prenuptial agreement, you cannot negotiate custody or child support. So even if you did, even if you have it in your prenuptial agreement, a judge will render it void.
Why?
Because it's very hard to be, okay, let me see if I can explain this well. So child support actually belongs to the child. And that can open up a can of worms. I have discussed it at length with some of my male clients. But
it belongs to the freaking the woman, and she getting her hair done and getting her breast done.
Discretion of how to use those funds. And look, a lot of women do abuse those funds. A lot of women, you know, take it for they're getting a purse, their nails done, their hair done, or whatever. However, those funds go to the primary parent for the support of the child. So to the extent you are trying to contract somebody else's money, a judge is not going to render that valid. And then so child support follows custody. Because you really can't choose who's actually going to have custody, you really can't say who's going to be paying what child support. And child support is calculated based on gross income. Your gross income at the time you sign your prenuptial agreement could very well not be the gross monthly income that you have at the time of your divorce, should you get divorced. And so there's that whole best interest argument about custody. You know, a judge is going to have to make that decision. A jury can't even make that decision. And that's just because the judge acts as patria is some Latin term, but basically the judge is going to act as the protector of the child in the event the parents
protector of the child. Man, please.
Yeah.
The protector. So, okay. Next question, because this is good. This is good. People in the chat are loving it.
I wish I could see the people in the chat. Hey, y'all.
If you can, I don't know, because if you know what you was doing, I'll be able to tell you do this. If I tell you to push some buttons, you might mess it up. So I don't want to mess nothing up. But yeah, there's a way you can
go back and watch it.
Yeah. So, is there like parent stamps, like food stamps, where you can only spend the child support on child support stuff, like, or a parent EBT card where only because if the child, you could buy children's clothes, children's this and children's that, but you can't buy like no pocketbooks, because children don't have pocketbooks. So you can't buy no Gucci bag. But why don't they? I'm just being real. Why don't they have woman EBT cards? Because these women be buying all kinds of mess with our child support money, And if it's for poor people, there's food stamps. Why
Right.
don't women have parent stamps?
Now, women who receive child support can still get EBT and WIC and TANF and all those.
No. I'm saying
Okay.
the finances are specifically on this card, and if you buy a bag with this card, it will deny. That's the same thing with the EBT cards with the welfare people. You can't buy certain food in the. It has to be on the list, right?
No, I got you. I get
Why
exactly.
can't it be like that with
Why can child support be applied
ex-wives?
to the
Baby
mother's
mamas?
personal? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is a question for the Georgia legislature. They need to enact a statute that kind of governs that.
Okay.
But child support and what it can be applied to, or generally what it is applied to, can be very broad. So no, should you use child support to go and pay for a breast implants? No, you shouldn't. Do people do it? I'm sure they do. But child support can be used, or child support is expected to be used for the maintenance of a household. So can you apply towards your rent? Yes, if you're providing a roof over your child's head. Can you apply it to water bills if that child needs to brush his or her teeth and take a shower? Yes. So it can be very broad. Should you buy your child clothes? Yes. Should you buy, pay for extracurricular activities? Absolutely. But, it's just one of those things where I wish there was some cause of action because, I would be rich, I promise. But I have this issue a lot where the father is current on his child support. He's buying everything, but then the kid, if it's a kid of age who can speak and things like that, the kid will come and ask dad directly, can I have money for, prom? Or can you buy me my senior jacket? Or, I need money for the senior vacation. And it's like, I pay your mom child support. Why are these funds not, being directed toward that? And, good fathers will go ahead and expend the extra dollars. And, they come to me and they're like, well, why am I having to do all of this? And I tell them, well, you technically don't have to do it. But their thing is, I'm going to take care of my child. Why is the mother not taking care of the child? And a lot of times I ask, well, did you ask if it could be split? Like, can they split the expense with you? And a lot of times I get that there was no conversation about it, and to the extent that y'all just don't have the co-parenting relationship where, a conversation won't break down and the other person won't get defensive, the other person won't feel attacked. I get that much. But at this point in time, at 2023 in September, there is nothing that can be done about it. So yes, the mother who gets the child support can apply it toward something else. Now, let me say this. To the extent she is not taking care of that child and she got her hair done and she got all these things, but she's moving from house to house because she's not paying her rent and all those things, you can absolutely file for a modification of custody. And again, child support follows custody. To the extent that she's not taking care of that child and you get custody, then she'll have to pay you child support. So it's kind of cyclical, and I would say for every issue, there is a solution. You just have to be creative about it.
So how is getting breast implants with child support money not fraud? Like, why aren't these women going to prison?
Such a bad example to use.
Why are they going to prison with their new breasts?
Why is that not fraud? I'm not going to say that it isn't. It to an extent it possibly is, but the person or the doctor who did it, they're not asking you where the money came from.
If they had parent EBT cards.
Yeah, I mean, you could track it a little bit there, but a lot of times that money gets blended with, and this is in the case of a mother who also works, it gets blended with her earnings from her job. And so it's all coming out of one account, most likely. And so it just kind of is one of those things that gets swept under the rug or just missed entirely.
But every time a man do something wrong, it don't get swept under the rug.
Well, it depends on what wrong is done.
We go to jail for anything.
Yes, I don't like that.
Women don't go to
Child
jail for
support has
nothing.
been criminalized. Yeah.
Name one thing that women go to jail for in these situations. Nothing.
Withholding visitation.
She'll go to jail for that?
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that.
You
I
probably
never
never
heard
knew
of that.
that. But yeah. So
Okay.
that's called contempt. There's a court order, even an agreement, to the extent you don't do, or if you don't do what the agreement says, or if you do something that you were not supposed to do, then you can file what's called a petition for contempt or motion for contempt. And it doesn't happen on the first time. I will say that a lot of judges like to give a little grace that first time.
Okay.
Now, but if it's repeated, like she's always withholding parenting time, or we get to where you're $15,000-$16,000 behind in child support, then yeah, you probably are going to jail.
Okay, so back to the Jeezy and Jeannie my situation. Not in particular, but why people keep getting divorces? In your opinion, like what is happening? What are you hearing? The man, woman, like what is wrong with these people?
I don't know. I really don't, and I have my own theories. I haven't spoken to Jeezy or Jeannie Mai, but they file under what's called irreconcilable differences. That is such a broad issue. Had he filed for adultery, I mean, that's a no-brainer. Had he filed for cruel treatment or some kind of abuse, that's a no-brainer. But irreconcilable differences can encompass, just financial issues. We can't agree on how to spend the money. Division of household labor. We always arguing about who's gonna do the dishes, or I feel like I always have this child. I told you I ain't want to have no kids. I had a kid with you, and you not helping me, with her. That can lead to an argument. I think in my heart of hearts, I do practice the Christian faith, and I prescribe or believe in the biblical definition of marriage. I think when people get selfish, that's when a marriage is over. To the extent that you no longer want to be other oriented and you want to put yourself first, which, I would just argue is fine. Do you? But at that point, if both of y'all are not doing that, if no one is taking care of the other person and both people feel like their needs aren't being met, then that's when the marriage is over. So the minute you get selfish, it's done. And we live in a very selfish society. I mean, celebrities for one, it's all about me. Look at me. What am I doing? And all these things. And, a lot of times you marry for a cheering section, but when you have two, very big personalities like the two of them, the minute you can't cheer for me as loud as I'm cheering for you, or you stop doing this, it's I gotta go. I do feel like more information is going to come out about this. I will keep looking on what's called I think they filed it on Odyssey. Georgia's e-filing system is called Odyssey. Google it, it'll come up. It's public record. For
who needed who to get back hot?
Who needed who to get back hot? Oh, I would say Jeannie Mai. I never heard of her before Jeezy. I didn't really watch The Real, but Jeezy, some of that old music still ride. So, and it could just be I'm from Atlanta, but I would say Jeezy did not need her. Jeezy already had kids. He had 2 baby mamas, right?
He has 1 baby mama, and Jeannie Mai is the next baby mama.
Okay. Well, yeah. I knew he already had a child, but yeah.
Well, I may be wrong. Yeah, I think he has 3 sons. I believe so. Or 2 sons.
Well, yeah. I mean,
he has 3 sons.
He didn't need her, in my opinion. He did not need her. And I don't want to say that she needed him, but to the extent someone needed the other, I would say she needed.
I actually think
he opened up for her a new audience because,
Yeah, I think Jeannie Mai said she didn't want no kids, lied, and then she turns around and gets pregnant. And now he's like, I thought you was on birth control. Like, what in the world? And he's just like, all right, whatever. And then she has postpartum depression, and she's just walking around, soaking around, and he ain't even want a baby. And now he has to do all this baby stuff, and he ain't even want freaking baby. And this is all my opinion. And she has this terrible way of thinking. She ain't never been a mom before, so she's frustrated, fussing at the little baby, getting mad, can't even figure out how to change the freaking diaper. And Because in Asia, you change the diaper the opposite way. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
I'm joking.
Oh, I'm like they babies the same way, ain't they?
I'm joking.
Okay. Look, stop
Oh.
fooling.
So I think she literally fell apart having her first child. I never like a woman having her first child is the most terrible thing in the world because she don't know what she's doing. She ain't never dealt with leaving the hospital, doing this. And she ain't never dealt with none of this stuff, right? So being his big age with 3 kids already and dealing with this probably annoying woman, and every single movement she's making is new because she never have been a mother before, I'm sure has to be the most annoying thing on the actual planet. And he couldn't deal with it anymore. And he's just like, yo, if you don't get your stuff the baby, she's probably holding up the baby, like, the baby, just acting stupid. And he's just like, yo, put my baby down. No, it's my baby. So I can imagine her just acting a fool where he's just like, yo, you're not even the same person. And
at their net worth, I would assume they could delegate a lot of responsibilities, childcare being one of them.
A first mom?
Her mom, they can hire somebody, care.com, go get them an au pair. They got the money to afford whatever it is.
The first mom, you don't think she acting like Chrisette? What is the little stupid girl missing a tooth with blue face?
I don't know.
What's the girl that's with blue face? Yeah, I think she's just acting a fool because
She could be.
What is the freaking girl with blue face, y'all? The girl that's with blue face who just had a baby. This stupid woman, I'm sorry, but she's stupid. She literally was on live.
Mm-hmm.
Krishan Rock. She literally had the baby like this, right? She, you hold the baby's head, right? She on live and she's like, yeah, da, 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 and the baby done fell like this. And she's still talking on live and she don't put the baby down on the table while she on live. So I'm just like, what in the world? So these new moms, and they ain't never had no baby before, they be acting a fool. And if it's a dude that don't want to be dealing with it, or because I personally, I'm gonna get my baby, pick my baby up. I want to do everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to blow on my daughter's face when she was crying because I didn't know how to stop her from crying. And it stopped her from crying, and I found out that was a bad thing. But altogether, I was blowing in her face because I was in her face. I wasn't gone somewhere nope, I'm in her face. Now, I didn't know how to stop her from crying, so I was blowing in the face. And it's a bad thing, but these other fathers don't be blowing in their kids' face because they don't care. I cared enough to blow in my daughter's face to get her shut up, but because I don't know how to. Go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of resources for new moms. For part of me just wants to feel like, I think there was some, how do I say this without feeling like I'm about to get sued for defamation? I think something mentally snapped in Jeannie Vine.
Yes.
Yeah, it could be because of the child, but we heard her talking about, oh, I'm so excited to cater to him, and all those things, and the things that you're supposed to say as a wife. And so I just assume, okay, well, they're gonna have a good, happy marriage, a long, long marriage. And I feel like what she was saying was just not true. And maybe Jeezy found out who she really was, because she divorced her first husband, who I hear loved everything about her, wanted to have kids with her, but she divorced him because she didn't want to have children. And so, that's all well and good if you don't want to have children, but I feel like that would have been a conversation that y'all had prior to marriage. So right then and there, I'm like, okay, something's not clicking with this woman. So I don't know. I feel like something mentally is just off, because You know, for Jeezy to ask for joint physical custody and not primary physical custody, I just want to assume that she is a decent mom, but probably a terrible wife.
Yeah.
And she probably is career obsessed, like he could be as well. But maybe he really wanted the I'm a cater to you wife and you not finna do the real thing. But now you want to, you know, get popping, be your influencer, do all the things, and you really not trying to prioritize this marriage. And
Yeah.
so he's probably like, okay, well, that is not what you presented to me. I want something different. We gotta go. You go find what you want, I'll find what I want.
And real dudes don't be playing with nobody. Get out. So fellas, just tell them to get out. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm the type of person, if I marry you, I don't care, we'll get an annulment. You act stupid if you want to, because I'm not finna have an eternity with no dumb person. I'm not doing it. Get out. We'll deal with the baby, this and whatever. So yeah. And I'm gonna take the baby. It's my baby. Not your baby, it's my baby. So go get another baby. Go have you another baby, because it's my baby. So yeah, I'm a whole parent out here. I ain't got time to be playing with no goofball. So yeah, I can understand how that could be, you know, because like it's her first child. And according to when I Googled this, according to Google, because I don't know, she had a miscarriage and then had a baby. So the miscarriage could have been traumatizing, and then being afraid of having another miscarriage and then actually giving birth and then being like, oh my God, I'm having a baby for real. So those two things together could have made her snap. So I agree with you on that.
But that makes me think, like, so after you had a miscarriage, the next time you intentionally tried, so you really did want a child. So I don't know how I feel about her telling her ex-husband that she didn't want children. So I feel like that was a lie.
Black dude.
Yeah.
She didn't want to have a baby by no white dude.
Why?
Because we're black. Who don't want to have a baby with us?
I mean, you should want to have a baby with your husband. Like, you thought enough of this white dude to marry him. So, you know, but I mean,
chicks
maybe
be
she wanted a little Blasian baby.
whoever asked them to marry them, Candace.
Huh?
Chicks be getting married to whoever asked them to marry them. They don't. If a dude is like, "Will you marry me?" She got to make a decision. Like, "Ooh, I may not ever get this moment again." You gonna say yes? You ain't gonna say no. Women say yes.
But
1,000% of the time, and then they break up the engagement after think about it later. That's why I'm sure you already know, most of these women done been engaged 3 times. They all said yes. You gonna say yes.
Maybe there's some truth to that. You say yes, you don't want to hurt the guy's feelings. And a lot of times, you know, we live in the social media age. We see the big, beautiful weddings on Instagram, the dress, the ring, and all the things, right? And then
married for the wedding.
And it's like, oh, wait a minute. Same thing with being mothers, like the maternity shoots. They're bigger and better now. The baby showers look like wedding receptions. But then you actually get the baby and the responsibility of the baby, and you're like, wait a minute. And that's why, you know, as divorces are on the rise, there's this thing called parental regret. Like, that's a whole thing now where people are actually regretting having children because they probably had children for all the wrong reasons. Just like people get married for all the wrong reasons.
I totally agree. Hold on, I'm gonna play something. And let me know if you gotta go or when you gotta go. I want to play this real quick though. So just let me know how your time is looking. But watch this.
Be a single mom. I don't deserve to be a single mom. My babies deserve to have their dads, but they.
She got about 8 kids in the background crying, talking about I don't want to be a single mom for the 8th time.
I didn't want to be a single mom. I don't deserve to be a single mom. My babies deserve to have their dads, but their dads ain't. I'm so tired. Like, I want a helpmate. I want a husband. I want somebody here to give me that breath, to give me that break, to give me that breather, to give me that space away from my baby. Because family members can only do so much. Like, I'm tired of changing diapers. I just want a break. I just want to be able to walk out the door and just do what I want. But I can't. I can't because my time revolves around them. I deserve a break.
Okay, I didn't mean to laugh. But
Nobody said
dude,
you
like,
laughing.
okay, is there a set of twins? Because I mean, at some point, you
Man,
should
she
quit.
probably
Like,
got 5
this is
kids.
the
She said my
eighth
baby
dude.
dad's with an S.
Okay, or not eighth baby. But what I would tell her is, you know, I understand you. I saw this on Instagram, and I don't know this girl personally, but their Instagram is the co-parent goals. I really like her. But she said that she is a mom who is single. She is not a single mom. And I feel like a lot of women need to adopt that, because what this mom needs to do is she needs to go to the court. To the extent she has all these kids all the time, these dads need to get some kind of weekends. They need to get legitimated or something where she can get her a break. And she needs to get child support. You know, to the extent she's getting child support, maybe she can afford a sitter to get a break. But, you know, you crying doesn't really do anything. And a lot of times, you know, I tell my my wives, like I said, my husbands and my wives, that you don't necessarily want to feel bad for putting someone on child support, but biblically, you need to be a good steward over your finances, and you need to be a good steward over your children's finances. To the extent
Well,
it takes
wait.
get child support.
What about being a good steward over your poom poom?
That
Because
too.
that's the problem.
That too. Absolutely. I
I'm just saying.
100% agree with you. Like I said, that's why I'm like, was there a set of twins? Like, did you get pregnant 8 times with the expectation of something different?
She
You know,
said my
so that would
baby
be a conversation
fathers.
with her. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So she said my baby fathers aren't doing what they supposed to do. So, but this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Like we just got to get it together. Daughter of the King of Kings, thank you for the super chat. Why are any self-respecting black women talking to black men in 2023? Oh, okay, whatever. It be man hating people, women hating people. So yeah, just little angry people be in the chat sometime. Thank you for the super chat, but it is what it is. But I don't want to hold you up because I did say an hour. I want to hold you to that because you're the best lawyer in the world and you're running around dealing with all these people, you know. So I want to make sure you get back to what you got to do. But thank you so much. You coming to the show tomorrow, right?
Yes, I am coming. Thank you for having me. Yes.
No problem, no problem. You good people. If you friends of Monique, friends of mine.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for pulling up. All right.
Okay.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed my special guest. And yeah, she answered some good questions. And what I learned is that a lot of you dudes simply don't have control over your freaking women. It ain't the court, it ain't the judge, it's you not having control over your freaking woman. Because just like with me, and it depends on what state you're in, it depends on what county you're in. Then at the same time, it depends on what type of parent you are. I was a 100% active parent. I did everything. So not everything, like she didn't do nothing, but I did everything as far as what a dad can do, and she did everything, you know, what a mom can do. But yeah, we held it down. So let me see. I'm gonna drop the link, and if you guys have any questions about relationships, marriage, or anything, hit the StreamYard button and let me know. If you have any questions about relationships, marriage, or anything, hit the StreamYard button and pull up. Are you married? I am divorced. I was married. Yeah, she was really good. She was really good. She was really good. Yeah, but hit the StreamYard button if y'all want to come up, and if you have any questions about marriage, divorce, relationships, or anything, because this Jeezy situation, I actually left my marriage, and part of my issue was I didn't see things getting better, and I didn't want things getting worse and worse and worse as the years go by. So I was like, man, I ain't got time for this, because I'm the type of person, I'm like, yo, I'm not finna do this. I'm out. How old is your daughters? My daughters are like in their 20s. So my daughters are awesome. And yeah, we go to the movies together, go out to eat together all the time. Me and my daughters are super close. So yeah. But yeah, when they was little, I was all in their faces. You know, I love being a dad. And that's one reason why I have no problem dating a woman that has a kid or has kids, because I love kids. So I get mad at my kids on a normal basis because they grown, and I just get mad at them because they not no little kids no more. And it's like, I'm mad because they're not kids no more. And it's annoying because they're not kids. So I love kids. I just love the process of parenting my kids. It's a beautiful thing. A lot of you dudes who don't have children, I don't understand y'all. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't really understand y'all, because fatherless people are just a tad bit strange to me. And because if you haven't raised kids, like, in my opinion, you haven't really lived. And it's just my opinion. Like, it's nothing in the world like raising children. So yeah. That's just me. That's just me. But y'all, do me a favor real quick. One, if you have not already, hold on, wrong button. I want y'all to do me a favor. I want you to, if you have not already, subscribe to my other YouTube channel. It is in the chat. Click the link, click the link, click the link. It is free. Just subscribe to my YouTube channel, and that is it. I'm trying to get that channel up and running and monetized, and I'm almost there. I need 50 more subscribers. So everybody, click that link that I just sent you, and please subscribe to my other YouTube channel. Please, please, please. And on top of that, my dating card game, of course.
Deeper Discussion card game is meant to give you and other players deep understanding of how we all deal with relationship, when or if things get serious. One of the biggest reasons why people break up is because of underlying family issues. This game can be played with either 2 people or an entire group, so have fun.
Question number 1. What is the one thing you wanted but didn't receive when you were young? Name a time when money was the main factor why a relationship went bad.
Deeper Discussions Dating Edition. Again, these cards are good for vetting a potential boyfriend, a potential girlfriend, a potential husband, a potential wife. It'll even tell you what's wrong with your sneaky link. If you and your sneaky link need to have a conversation, these are the cards. Actually, these cards are so soft and silky, by the way. Like
they ain't gonna get wore out.
Durable.
A dating card game for introverts who have a hard time asking the much needed compatibility questions. Deeper Discussions, the card game.
All right, y'all. Talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day. Hold on. I got somebody. Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
You
What's
hear me?
going on, man?
I'm good.
Oh, just
How's
about
the
to
mic
go. I
sound?
seen you down there. What's going on?
Yeah. I just came up here, man. So right now we don't know what the situation between Jeannie, Mai, and Jeezy, besides what the court documents say, or any documents saying why the possibility of why there's divorce. What do you call reconciled differences? That's what they call it.
Yeah. Why do we need to know?
I have no idea. I was
Not
surprised
our
that
business.
somebody leaked. I was
Huh?
surprised somebody leaked it. That's something new. It was leaked. So I don't know why people cover it. They don't know what the real thing.
Well, I'm covering it. I don't know why other people covered it. I covered it. I brought a lawyer on here. So I use this as an opportunity for all of us to get a better understanding of divorce law. I'm not no chatty patty. I don't know what these are. I'm not, you ain't finna see me. Hey, they had a divorce. What y'all? No. I'm not I'm not a blogger. I can see a situation and I'm like, yo, okay, since this is happening, let's talk about this. I ain't come on here to be a chatty patty about their divorce. I don't care why they got divorced and what. I came on here to bring you guys an actual divorce lawyer so we can find out why other people are getting divorced and is it worth getting married, things like that. So I don't give a damn about them whether they get divorced or not, because I don't be in people's business like that. I'm not no blogger. These bloggers be doing that. I'm here to give y'all insight on what actually is happening out here and how we can learn from it.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. You know, it's funny, MrLetGo, because you said about what the woman does for the child support. I always question that, but I know with the courts is a business. So if they say as long as you pay, they don't really care what the woman does with the money, which I find is very odd. So I mean, she could be buying things that could not be for the children. Like let's say a man makes more money, right, and pays amount monthly. She could have put some of that in a stipend and put it for maybe for school, like for future college or something that the child might need as they get to adult. If the father's paying consistently child support. We agree on that? Instead, she take the money for herself. Some of it.
Well, I think it has to be some legislation that is brought up where there's a parent EBT card and you can't use the money for breasts. You can't use the money for no bag. You can't use the money to put down on a car. You can't do any of that, so it has to be about for the child or either in a separate account where your money goes on this card and whatever the woman buys with their account, you can check the account. So it'd be like a joint account. You can't take money out of the account as the man, but you can check the account. Does that make sense?
I think the joint account will make more sense because now you know where the flow of money is going from in and out, from one
That's
hand
what I'm
to the
saying.
other.
So
That would make more sense then, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't take money out, but you can see what's going on with the money. So all your child support money goes onto a card, and you can literally survey or oversee what the woman is doing with the card, because women are children. You don't supposed to just give a child some freaking money. They're gonna go buy some stupid stuff with it. So
But the only problem why that it could work or might not go through because there's so many women that's in certain public, in higher officials that they're gonna try to shut that down immediately because they want to abuse the money.
We get men to not shut that down. Men are in control, not women. Women don't want to run nothing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, it takes a lot of men to have to be organized to say we want this done, and instead of complaining in the long run.
Yeah.
And one thing I would say, because I say it possibly might or might not work. If you think about a lot of women, if women had to be what they call it, capped on certain things like that to know what they do with the money, someone will not probably have no children. Because I can't really. And really, that limits. But you see, if the United States is concerned about they need the bodies, then it has to be make sense. And men are only going to two things: either they're going to step out or not going to participate and give these women what they want. And the women want to work hard just to get that seed. You get me?
Yeah. I understand what you.
It should be always like that. They should work hard for the seed anyway. No man should be just giving it like freely, in my opinion. Because when you do that now, you just validate the behavior. Just like let's say let's say she did this intentionally. I had conversations with other brothers. They think that Jesus should get a DNA test to check if that's his kid. And I'm saying it's kind of late in the game because the kid's here. I mean, you could check if it is now, but why was not your kid?
You get a DNA test now too. I'll say for any man to get a DNA test, no matter who did what.
Okay.
Always get a DNA test. Don't trust these freaking women. A woman to have a baby by another chaos. If you can get pregnant and you got pregnant by a loser and your husband is Jeezy, is you gonna tell Jeezy that's not his baby?
Hell no.
Thank you. Thank you. Nobody's dumb enough to do that. So every man needs to get a DNA test, because if we were women, we will put babies on other people too. Man, please.
Okay.
Let me be dealing with a rich person. I'm putting the baby on them. Man, please get all child support.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Yeah.
So if I would do it, I know a woman to do it. So
yeah. I mean, I'm hoping he does do that, because a lot of people are putting that idea he should anyway, just to be safe. Because if he's gonna go for a joint custody and a battle, because I hear talk about prenup might be challenged. At the end of the day, he did his part. You get me? One thing he had to do is try to come out of this as clean as possible, which we know it could be challenging, but we'll wait and see. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm going to cover it, because I need more details. I waste time to cover this, because this is something I just don't want to be talking about. I want to get a real understanding, because people if they get married and divorced under 2 years, it didn't even survive 5 or 10 years, and it's already done after 2 years. So there has to be more.
It's a lot,
but
man.
we'll never know.
It's a lot
going on.
I had women live with me a few times after my marriage. Hey, factually, let me see your face and then I'll bring you up. Factually, I need to see your face and then I'll bring you up. I've had women live with me and they annoyed the hell out of me. So what's going on, brother?
I'm doing well.
So it's not easy because women are annoying. So you have a woman walk around your house, it's cute, everything's good. She walk around, with a little panties on or whatever, and you can get some whenever you want to. She's hugging on you, kissing on you, whatever. Everything's great. But at some point, she's going to start draining your energy. You ain't gonna be able to look at football on Thursday. You ain't gonna be able to look at football on Monday. You're gonna be able to look at football on Sunday. She's gonna want to do stuff. Y'all gonna start spending money on stuff that you don't even know why. And she want to buy pictures and all that. And next thing you know, you just like, yo, what in the world? So a lot of people, they don't live together until they're about to get married and all this other stuff. And it can actually just get overwhelming, because women are annoying as I don't know what. I love women, but y'all are annoying. But what do y'all think?
Okay. All right, MrLetGo, since Mike came to the panel, I'm gonna let them talk. I'm gonna jump down. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you. What's going on factually?
I'm doing very well. I figured I'd come on to briefly discuss what's been happening over in Florida and also Texas. Seems like there are laws being changed to so we could arrive to a fair system towards fathers.
Okay.
Men who have gone through that system already know the situation, the hurdles we have had to overcome in order to be allowed to see our children, so we can at least deal with a broken family. So Florida has required mothers to go to work and not rely only on child support. And they are also requiring the court is putting the onus on the mother to actually I'm trying to remember those laws, to actually present a case that would keep the father from actually seeing his children. I don't know if you are aware of that. Yeah. And Texas is also introducing many laws to even out the playing field.
Okay. Hold on. Something just happened with Facebook. I gotta figure out what just happened. So I gotta end the stream because I don't know what just went on. I gotta fix it. So sorry. So I just got a notification. I need to find out what in the world is going on with Facebook. So I gotta go. I don't know if a time went out or whatever. I don't know what went on. But I will talk to y'all later. I gotta end this stream so I can find out what happened. But thank you for pulling up, brother. You there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right, man.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Okay.